Hello, there are a lot of footage from Ukraine has been released during the last 2 days indicating major mechanized offensive operations of Ukrainian military forces towards Russian-held territories in the Donetsk and Zaporizhia regions. As you might notice, this is a longer video that contains helmet cam and drone camera footage from both sides. As stated, these operations were mostly conducted by light mechanized forces, but in the end also a tank battle is included. In Marinka, just on the outskirts of Donetsk city, a Ukrainian drone filmed massive clashes between Ukrainian and Russian forces. The smoke and high amount of tracer fire indicates heavy urban fighting. Russia currently said that they have thwarted the attack. However, these urban scenarios are not so easily to counter, I would say. Basically, if the Ukrainians manage to get a foothold inside some of the buildings, it can take days and even weeks to drive them back out there. These heavily destroyed urban areas are basically difficult terrain to fight in, and that's what light infantry is basically pretty good for. You send them in before the main force in advance, and I think this is what happened here. Sorry for repeating myself with some words, but I'm basically freestyling all this here. On another axis aiming for the same direction, namely Donetsk city, there was helmet cam footage released from a Ukrainian Humvee section storming Russian positions. An interesting side note here is that two guys appeared to be riding in the trunk of the Humvee before dismounting into the fight. This helmet cam video was filmed by an English-speaking volunteer who was fighting with the Ukrainians and got released on a very big Ukrainian military channel. I haven't included the whole video inside this, merely scenes from it. I will include the link to the original video in the description. You can go and watch it there in its entirety. It's about 6 minutes long. The soldier wearing the helmet camera has an ACOG mounted to his rifle. This is basically pretty good in open terrain, but not the best choice for close quarter engagements. In general, we see a lot of use of iron sights, especially in trench fighting. So this ACOG is something new to see in this particular situation. The Humvee gunners were providing fire support for the dismounted infantry that tried to advance towards the Russian dugouts. After they came to the decision that they sent out enough volume of fire to effectively push, they commenced to push towards the first line of defense. The outcome of the engagement is not clear, it wasn't shown. Russia claims that they thwarted all attacks, however, this should be taken with a grain of salt. Also, every step forward can be seen as a shaping operation within the initial operation. We basically have to wait and collect more information. Also, we have to monitor all the things that come out from the area and see how the situation will unfold. The Ukrainians were part of the 59th Motorized Brigade. And here we have a nice depiction of how the soldier overcomes the language barrier with his Ukrainian counterpart. Also interesting here is that the grenade is having a renaissance, if we could say so, not only through drones but also through infantry. If we look at videos from Afghanistan or Iraq, for example, we never saw that heavy use of hand grenades. We saw them on occasion, but never during every video, and here nearly every helmet cam video shows the use of grenades. So pretty interesting. Now very many people would think, yeah, that's what a grenade's made for, and yes, you are right, but still we haven't seen this used so frequently before, at least documented on camera. From this particular area between Donetsk and Zaporizhia, Russia released a number of drone videos showing the use of artillery against a, they claim, battalion-sized element of Ukrainian mechanized forces. The first video is pretty low quality, so we cannot really say what types of vehicles were used there. We see movement though, and also most likely vehicle movement and artillery strikes, but we cannot tell for sure from this video. No matter the outcome, these attacks provided valuable data for Ukraine and also its allies. I will come to that later. Another drone video released from Russia shows what appears to be a company-sized recon element of Ukrainian forces, and here we get a clearer picture of what vehicles were used, mainly a number of MRAP variants, and we can see what looks like to be a Dutch M113 variant. Apparently Russia also used the Ka-52 helicopters to counter the advance. We see it using guided rockets to target Ukrainian vehicles. And now I want to get back to the data this all produced. Well, we can confirm some things we already know. We know that Russia mainly relies on artillery to defend its areas. Also, if the helicopter footage is accurate, we see that the problems with Ukrainian air defense materialized a little bit more. They were not able to shoot this helicopter down in time. I think what would very much expand the offensive capabilities of Ukraine would be an extension of their deep strike capabilities, be it from ground-launched or air-launched systems. Also, the Russian artillery and air defense is a problem because these two things effectively cover each other. And for artillery, close air support capabilities would be very helpful. And in order to enable these close air support capabilities, it would make sense to expand Ukraine's SEAD capabilities. Especially if you take into consideration the fact that the new Ukrainian brigades that were effectively formed for these offensive operations were mainly trained in the NATO doctrine, and Western doctrine relies heavily on air support in order to achieve its goal. So it will make sense to give Ukraine access to more advanced fighter jets. The last video from the region I wanted to bring to your attention was a tank battle in which a pair of Russian tanks drove right into an Ukrainian tank ambush. What is interesting about this is how close those tanks came to each other, but this is no new thing in this war. There are other videos showing similar situations, and one of the tanks here had a cope cage. It didn't help. That's it for the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I want to say excuse me for my English. I basically freestyled all of this, so I didn't make any script. I was a lot under time pressure because the mainstream media basically will upload each of the scripts separately and get millions of views for it. And well, I tried to give a better picture. I hope you appreciate it. If you do, show it through a like, a comment, a share. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell to enable notifications. Right now, nearly all views only come from my subscribers. YouTube isn't recommending this content to many people at all, so it's frustrating, but you are the guys that keep me doing this. I hope that you see value in it. Thank you. Bye bye.